Hello everyone, and welcome to the Alpha Woman online event or webinar. I'm very happy to see you tonight, especially the ladies. Welcome. Tonight we have something very special as usual. It's very important to focus with us and take notes because the topic will be helping you a lot, especially like the ladies, when it comes to understanding your body, your hormones, the importance of hormonal balance, how it will help you to have a better life, a better performance at work, a better communication with others. So I'm very happy and excited to have you with us tonight. For people who do not know me, my name is Lama El Kuba. I am the co-founder of Alpha Woman. I started my journey 3 years ago, learning about financial education, investment education, working on myself, building women, building teams all over the world internationally. And because this business is very suitable for women, I wanted to share this also with other women. That's why Eliane and I co-founded Alpha Women to help women understand the importance of financial education, understand her personal finances, understand the importance of investment, and also like understanding the financial markets, making money out of the financial markets. So we cover all of this as Alpha Women because this is our mission to create this place where women feel comfortable learning and sharing their experiences and their knowledge with other women, getting the support they need to be able to dive into the financial market and make money out of it. So I'm very excited to have you all tonight. I will move to my partner, Eliane Ghanem. Also, she's with us tonight. Hi, Eliane.
Hello, Lama. Thank you for sharing. And hello, everyone. Welcome to this. Really, I'm so excited to hear about this vital topic. I am Eliane Ghanem. And briefly, when the economic crisis it hit my country in 2019, I realized the hard way that to count only on one source of income is not correct and is not healthy for our financial well-being. So I decided to embrace a radical solution for my life, which is learning about the financial education the right way and about investment and about the online business. And I realized that inflation, economic downturns will always happen. Change is what is really certain in our life. And I wanted this radical solution to help me to make income online and not to be related to my country. So I discovered that anyone can learn it. I discovered that the flexibility of time, of location, and this is really a privilege. Lama, you are in Dubai, I am in KSA, and I was able to run my business smoothly with zero anxiety as long as I have internet, which is beautiful. And also, what I discovered is that I can make my income on my own terms without relying on a job or on a company. And the capital is not a problem because we can have a capital leveraged by money and generate high returns. And the most beautiful thing is that you are not alone. Financial markets is a place of abundance. Everybody wants to see you and to see us winning. So it's a place of collaboration. And besides that, the women in our community tasted it and are experiencing it on daily basis, gaining the discipline, the patience, mastering your emotions, and all this is very important. And I met Lama, which is also a like-minded woman. And what really inspired me about Lama is her boldness. And she like seized the opportunity. She left her job and she started as well. And together we wanted to co-found a safe place for women. Like Lama, she introduced the Alpha Women vision and mission. We did not want to stop on the creation of wealth. We wanted also to focus on the health part, physical, mental health, and most importantly as well, the mindset to leave the limiting belief system, to embrace new ones, to empower our self-belief, self-love, a mindset of money, prosperity, and and leadership and goodness, and also relationship communication. We created a circle of women who empower each other to take bold actions, consistent actions, despite that the circumstances and maybe conditions are not perfect. And this is what Alpha Woman is about. And tonight we are tapping into the wheel of health, and not the physical and the mental health. It is physical health, but not like we know about physical activity, but it's deeper. It's about hormones, which is exciting. I met Nadine Abdel after I resigned from my job because I wanted to start to live my life in a different way, actually, with a different mindset, to be more connected with my body. Besides that, I started to have issues like I started to have thin hair and bad sleeping, and I was not okay. And maybe because I was shifting and changing. And I attended a workshop about hormonal balancing. It was eye opening for me. And I met Nadine. I will quickly introduce you to her. Her story is amazing. She is a certified holistic nutritionist and hormone balance coach. Her mission is to empower women to regain control of their well being. And she went through a journey into wellness. She was able to overcome a rare disorder and achieve 40-kilogram weight loss. She transitioned from a background in advertising and events, and she embraced a passion in nutrition, hormonal health. So she helped 1,700 women and more to manage stress, cravings, and sleep issues and weight gains and other symptoms that are associated with hormonal imbalance. She is specialized in helping women to balance their hormone naturally and to achieve sustainable weight loss. Her mission is more than physical transformation. It's to help us women reconnect with our bodies and to live a life filled with vitality, energy, and well-being. Nadine, welcome. And we are so excited to hear about this vital topic tonight. Thank you
Thank
for
you for the introduction. Thank you for the great introduction. Let me just start by sharing my screen. Okay. So I'm really excited to be here. As Eliane mentioned, I met her a couple of years ago, and we built this awesome relationship. And this is what happens usually throughout my workshops. We build a connection between women somehow because we all connect on a certain level. And just to give you a brief background, an extra information of what Eliane shared, my journey as a holistic nutritionist started a few years ago after a 10-year struggle with a very rare disorder that doctors couldn't diagnose for the first 8 years. And they used to blame it on stress. And then when I found out what it was, there was no solution for it until today. There is no solution for the thing that I have, which is my esophagus doesn't work in a nutshell. So so it doesn't contract, so the food doesn't go down and so on. And there is still nothing that they can do. There are trials around the world, but nothing yet. And so this is when I decided to stop giving up and take things into my own hands. And so I decided to study holistic nutrition and treat myself. And after it took around 2 years, and now my esophagus works. It was working 10%, and now naturally it works anywhere between 70 to 86%. So I was able to achieve that, and this is what led me to take more courses in nutrition and hormonal balancing. Hormonal balancing was part of my recovery journey, and uh, and and then when I started meeting clients, women in specific, I realized that most of their issues were in by can be fixed by balancing their hormones, and yet doctors don't tell them what to do that because they don't know or they don't connect the dots. So they end up going from doctor to doctor with all these symptoms, but usually the blood tests come back normal, and they don't know what's wrong with them, but they feel that something's wrong with their bodies. And when they come to me, we do an assessment session, and we realize that it's all in the matter of balancing their hormones naturally. And so this is what brought us here today. So today it's going to be a
We are
mini.
so excited to know more about the presentation or the webinar or the information that you are giving tonight, Nadine. And also, I want to like say that stay with us till the end because we have a surprise also for you from Nadine and from Alpha Woman. So stay with us
Yes.
till the end because this session is very informative. Plus, you will get the surprise at the end.
It
Thank you.
is. I tried to put in as much information as possible during this hour, so because usually it's a 4-hour workshop. All right, so let's start. Okay, so what to expect out of today's mini workshop. So we're going to get to know our main hormones, what they control in our body, what their main functions are, what it means to have a hormonal imbalance and why it doesn't always show up in a blood test, and what are the signs and symptoms of your hormones being out of balance, and how they affect your working day or your just your life in general, and most importantly, how you can balance them naturally with no hormone replacement therapy, no hormones, nothing at all, no supplements, anything, just simple natural food and lifestyle changes. So let's start with explaining what is a hormonal imbalance. A hormonal imbalance happens when you have too much or too little of one or more hormones in your body. And all the hormones in our body are connected to each other. So if one goes off balance, it's like a domino effect. The rest go off balance as well. So it's really hard to tell from the symptoms which hormone is out of balance because each hormonal imbalance, let's say me and Eliane and Lama have the exact same hormonal imbalance. I might be feeling 10 symptoms, Eliane might be feeling 20 symptoms, Lama might be feeling one symptom. So it's really hard to tell which hormone is out of balance because they're all connected to each other. And it's simple, it's a cascade effect. If one goes off balance, the rest go off balance as well. All right. And as you can see on the screen, I put the most common symptoms of your hormones being out of balance. The most important and what's related to work, your work performance, and so on, is the first row, which is fatigue, when we feel tired all the time, anxiety, stress, which kicks in after the age of 35. And this has a lot to do with our hormones changing as women. Panic attacks, sleep disturbances. A lot of people don't sleep well, or they keep waking up between 2 and 3 a.m. Insomnia sometimes, brain fog, which a lot of women experience, especially after COVID or after getting the vaccine, which affected women's hormones in general. And this is why they got a lot of brain fog. Low energy, like you start off your day fine, or you have a hard time getting out of bed, but once you're out of bed, your day is fine after drinking coffee. And then you have these afternoon drops, energy dips. Or if you eat, you feel sleepy after food, and so on. So the rest of your day goes like it starts with high energy and then drops as we move along. And then the second row is most women's concerns. Cannot lose weight, even if you try really hard. You've tried every diet there is, and you cannot lose weight, or you're gaining weight with no reason. Like you're not changing your lifestyle, you're not adding any food, you're not exercising less, but all of a sudden you just gain weight for some reason. And then having digestive issues such as bloating, constipation, sugar and carb cravings, which is everyone's issues, water retention, and belly fat that appears all of a sudden. Like in our 20s, the fat is equally distributed around our body, but after the age of 30, it somehow connect all like it's all around your belly area or your midsection area, let's say. And then there's dry skin, thinning of hair, puffy eyes, hot flashes, headaches, migraines, irregular periods, heavy periods, and so on. And then we have a bunch of common hormonal imbalances such as PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, which a lot of women have. A lot of women, 85% of women are misdiagnosed with PCOS. And that's unfortunate because there is not one test that shows you have PCOS. It's a bunch of symptoms, and if the doctor checks off 3 out of these 5 or 6 symptoms, they tell you have PCOS. And what do they give people? Birth control pills, which are hormones. So they end up, instead of fixing your issues, they end up affecting your hormones long term. And then acne it can also appear at a late age. It doesn't have to be in your teenage years. Infertility, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Most of our digestive issues are caused by hormonal imbalances, and most women don't know that. And then fibroids and endometriosis, fibromyalgia, which is a theory of a disease. It's not a real disease, but a lot of women are being diagnosed with fibromyalgia. It's when you have pains all over your body and there's no reason for them, so the doctor says fibromyalgia. And this is usually fixed by balancing your hormones. So all of the symptoms that are up on the screen are the most common ones. There's still 100 more, but these are the most common that women go through. Men also have hormonal imbalances, by the way, so it doesn't only affect women. But these are the ones that we feel most commonly during during your monthly period, around your period, around your menstrual cycle, or after the age of 35. You can feel them at any age. Okay, so hormones control our body function. So when they are out of balance, not only do we feel these symptoms, but our body functions stop functioning the right way, and which end up this ends up in being like you're at risk of getting more diseases or more illnesses and so on. So what does life look like with unbalanced hormones? You feel tired all the time. You don't have energy to work out or even go through the rest of your day without coffee or caffeine in general. And this happens because you have a hormonal imbalance. It has nothing to do with you having, let's say, you're just being stressed from work, or you're just overloaded, or you're overstressed. No, if your hormones are balanced, you will not feel this type of energy all day, and you don't feel like you need caffeine to feel better. And I'm sure a lot of people, because a lot of women drink caffeine in the morning on an empty stomach, just to feel, our day needs to begin. We can't function without drinking coffee and so on. But this means if you feel that way, it means you have a hormonal imbalance. If you wake up feeling tired, it means you have a hormonal imbalance. If you feel tired all the time or in the afternoon, it means you have a hormonal imbalance. If you feel sleepy or tired after a large meal, it means you have a hormonal imbalance. So most of us feel these symptoms, but we don't know that they're related to hormones in any. And when we say hormones, people usually relate it to reproductive hormones, but hormones, we have hundreds of hormones in our bodies. It's not only estrogen and progesterone and things that have to do with our menstrual cycle and so on. No, there's insulin, there's cortisol, there's a bunch of different hormones that have nothing to do with the reproductive system. And then difficulty losing weight, which we talked about, especially around the belly area. Not feeling in control of your mood and emotions. You have emotional highs and lows all the time. You feel you're irritated. You cry easily. Most women feel that around their period when they're PMSing. And let me tell you an interesting thing. PMS is not normal. It's a hormonal imbalance. If you have PMS, it means you have a hormonal imbalance. It's just common, so we think it's normal, but it's really not. If you experience any sign of PMS, it means you have a hormonal imbalance, which most women do. So, and then trouble concentrating or forgetting things or feeling like you have brain fog. This is your hormones. And then waking up multiple times during the night, or having insomnia, or not sleeping enough, or not having enough deep sleep, having anxiety more often, constant sugar and carb cravings, especially at night. Like you eat well all day long, and then after 7 p.m., everything you end up eating everything there is in the house. And then increased feelings of anxiety, stress, you're nervous all the time without a clear cause. And then acne, dry skin, and unexpected breakouts in your face and your skin. So I highlighted the ones that affect our work performance in general. They all do, actually, because if your body doesn't feel well, overall you don't function well. But I highlighted the ones that affect the way that you concentrate and the way that you have energy during your working hours and so on, which affects your performance big time. And so what can we do to change our lives to the better and stop experiencing these symptoms? So let's start at the beginning. What are hormones? What are they exactly? In simple language, they are chemical messengers that control most major body functions, such as metabolism, weight, hunger, stress, mood, emotions, growth, development, appearance, energy, anxiety, sleep and waking up cycle, reproduction, fertility, and so much more. So much more. So, in a nutshell, they control your body. Simple. Yani they control everything in your body, all functions. So when they are out of balance, and I told you before, they're all connected to each other. So if one goes off balance, the rest go off balance. And since they control your body, when they go off balance, your body stops functioning the right way, and which leads to diseases and illnesses and you not feeling well overall, but you can't pinpoint what's wrong. So what causes hormonal imbalances? What are the causes? Like, why do we have hormonal imbalances? First of all, natural causes. From puberty, when you get your period, or when you reach puberty, it goes for both men and women. Your hormones change. When you get pregnant, your hormones change. After birth, they change. And then perimenopause, they change. And menopause, they change. And so on. They keep changing. And during the monthly cycle, every week to 10 days, they keep changing. So naturally, they are always out of balance. But some people, as we said, some people feel the symptoms and some people don't. And some people can feel one symptom and some people feel 100 symptoms. So it depends on your body. It doesn't mean that if you feel one symptom that you don't have a hormonal imbalance. No. It means your body is different. It's just like getting a virus. I might get we might have the same virus. I might get a sore throat. Elian might feel might get a cough and have a runny nose. Lama might feel something else and have a fever. So it depends on your body and how it handles hormonal imbalance. And then there's stress. So which we're all stressed, especially these days. And you cannot control stress that happens from outside, like outside your body. You cannot control like the war, you cannot control the financial crisis, you cannot control these things, but you can control how your body deals with stress. Your body releases the main stress hormone is called cortisol. I'm sure you've heard of it before. And your body releases cortisol at any sign of stress, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, and so on. And so to help your body deal with stress. But when your body feels the need to release more cortisol, it starts using up another hormone, which is called progesterone, which is one of the main female hormones that we have. And progesterone helps, it's called the nature's Valium. It helps, keeps you calm. So instead of keeping you calm, you're having more anxiety once you have more stress and so on. So you need to balance your hormones to fix all of these issues. And then inflammation, illnesses, disorders, diseases, tumors. If you have a problem with your thyroid, one of the main organs that produces the thyroid hormones, you have a hormonal imbalance. If your pancreas is not producing insulin, you have a hormonal imbalance, and so on. And then the most important thing, which is what we do all day, is your diet, the way that you eat. So, and your gut health. And with everything that we're eating right now at the moment, the processed foods, um, the sugar, the refined sugar, everything has hormones and already contains hormones and so on. It affects your hormones. Your hormones go off balance. And then your gut health, nutrient deficiencies, food allergies, and sensitivities all cause hormonal imbalances. And then sleep. Now, sleep is tricky because if you don't sleep well, it affects your hormones. But if you have unbalanced hormones, it also affects your sleep. So it's like a circle. And then medications, like taking hormones. taking hormone drugs, taking contraceptive pills, and so on, they end up, when you take any hormone, I'm not against taking hormones if you need it. Like if your body doesn't produce a certain hormone, you need to take it. But taking hormones just for the sake of taking hormones, you don't need to do that. You can balance them naturally. So for example, let me give you an example of many people that take melatonin to sleep better. It's a hormone that your body produces, but when you take it as a pill, as a supplement, your body starts relying on it and stops producing melatonin. So it's not good long term. It'll help you sleep better, yes, but long term, it will screw up your hormones even more. Okay? And then our bodies are always trying to communicate with us and showing us that we have hormonal imbalances. So extra fat around your belly area can be caused by too much insulin. Extra fat around your hips and thighs can be a sign of having high estrogen, which is called estrogen dominance. Irregular or heavy periods can be also caused by high estrogen. Loose arms, even if you're working out at the gym and you have loose arms, it can be from not having enough testosterone. And all of these hormones, which we're going to talk about now, affect the way your work performance during your day, your energy, the brain fog, how you forget, how you focus, how you sleep. They're all connected to each other. Okay? So we're going to talk really fast about the main hormones that affect us most as females, at least. Okay? So cortisol, it's the main stress hormone. Cortisol is naturally high in the morning when you wake up, naturally. And after the age of 35, once our hormones start changing and your estrogen and progesterone start going down, your cortisol naturally goes up. So it's already high after the age of 35, and in the morning when you wake up, it's even high. So when you do anything that increases your heart rate in the morning, such as drinking coffee or working out or smoking, anything that increases your heart rate, your cortisol level spikes up. So when it goes back down within a couple of hours, it stays above normal. And when cortisol is above normal, it affects all other hormones. Cortisol is the most sensitive hormone we have in our body for both male and female. It goes up and down in seconds. So it's really important to control that. And so the best thing to do before drinking coffee or before working out in the morning is the best way, let's say, to bring down cortisol in the morning is eating a balanced breakfast within the first hour of waking up, which is almost impossible because many people would say that we're not used to it, we don't wake up hungry. If you don't wake up hungry, it means you have a hormonal imbalance, by the way. So when you start waking up hungry, now that we're going to talk about how to balance your hormones, know that you're on the right track to balancing your hormones. And so if you cannot do that, just start off your day with having, first of all, water, and then a few raw nuts, and then you can have your coffee, and then you can work out, and then you can have breakfast and go on with the rest of your day. And this little change you will feel so different after a few weeks. Yani, it's a very small change, but it affects it big time. Okay, so try that. The impact on symptoms for cortisol, increased belly fat. When your cortisol level is high, it directly affects your insulin level, which stores fat around your belly area. And then fatigue. You feel constantly tired all the time. You have good days and bad days. And you don't know why you feel tired. You just feel tired. You go to work, you think it's from all the stressful emails that you have or your boss or whatever, but it's not. It's really your hormones. And then sleep disruptions. Waking up at between 2 and 3 a.m., this is your cortisol level. And I know a lot of women go through that. They wake up between 2 and 3 a.m. And then mood swings all the time, having mood swings. I know we blame it on hormones. It is, it truly is. You should blame it on your hormones. It is your hormones. Okay. And then we have the thyroid, which I'm sure most women have done the thyroid blood test. We have two main thyroid hormones, the T3 and T4. And they play a significant role in your weight, your energy, and your metabolism. So basically your weight. But your energy, which is really important, your body temperature as well. And so it affects your weight gain, your fatigue again. So if you notice, all hormones affect your energy levels. Brain fog and depression, and being unfocused, dry skin and hair as well. And then we have insulin, our favorite hormone, the fat storage hormone, which stores fat around your belly area. So in a nutshell, what is insulin? When you eat a meal that's high in carbs and sugar, let's say a plate of pasta, the sugar in your blood goes up. The level of sugar in your blood goes up. And it cannot stay like that, or else you suffer. So your body releases insulin, and insulin grabs this sugar and helps enter into cells and turns it into energy. This is in very simple language. The amount of insulin that is released depends on the meal that you have. So if you have a big plate of pasta alone, this amount of insulin is released. If you have the same plate of pasta but with a chicken breast, like a big protein on the side, plus a salad, a little amount of insulin is released. So it's all about balancing your meal, not your day. This is the key to hormonal balancing, which we will talk about now. Okay? And then from our lifestyle and the way that we eat, sometimes your cells give up and they don't want to enter insulin anymore, which is called insulin resistance. They start resisting insulin, which is also called prediabetes, which leads to diabetes type 2. Okay? And as we said, weight gain, increased hunger, you're hungry all the time. And I am sure if you notice that the days you don't sleep well, you keep on having cravings the second day. This is hormonal, 100%. And then again, fatigue, brain fog, everything that affects your work performance. All right. And then estrogen, our main female hormone. It's the hormone of femininity because it gives you your physical features. Men have it too, but in smaller amounts. Estrogen plays a very important role in your cholesterol levels and your heart and blood vessels. So it's very rare for a woman that's still on her period to get a heart attack or a stroke. Why? Because we still have estrogen in our body. So this is why after menopause, you are more at risk of having heart disease. It's not because we're getting old, it's because we don't have estrogen anymore to protect us. Okay, and same goes for your bones. This is why most women get osteoporosis after menopause. Okay, and estrogen plays a very important role in your sleep and getting hot flashes in your body temperature, mood swings, bone loss, as we said, and so on. And directly during perimenopause, after the age of 35 or 40, as your estrogen level goes down, your cholesterol levels start going up in your blood cells. But this is completely reversible by balancing your hormones. Okay, and then progesterone, nature's Valium, which is another female hormone. It's called nature's Valium because it's in charge of keeping you calm. It's in charge of your anxiety and so on. And progesterone deficiency is the #1 hormonal balance in women aged 30 to 50. Why? Because estrogen and progesterone, many women don't know that, and doctors don't tell them that. Estrogen and progesterone are very related to each other. So they should go up and down together. So sometimes, because most women have estrogen dominance, which means your estrogen is high, so you have low progesterone, which is a hormonal imbalance. And most women have estrogen dominance. If you experience any PMS, it means your estrogen is high. And this doesn't show up in a blood test because the blood test gives you a range. But there is a way to calculate your estrogen in comparison to your progesterone to find out. Okay, but we're not going to go into that detail. And the symptoms of your progesterone being out of balance, again, mood swings and anxiety, irregular periods, sleep disturbances, and weight gain. So as you can tell, all the symptoms are very similar to each other. They're not very far from each other. They're very similar and they affect our daily life, the way we live our daily lifestyle. being tired all the time, unable to focus, being irritated, mood swings, having trouble sleeping or waking up at night, having cravings, and so on. So the most common hormonal imbalance in women is estrogen dominance. What does that mean? It is the root cause of many hormonal health issues that we have. It means when you have too much estrogen in relation to your progesterone, which affects which is affected by the food that you eat, the products that we use, like hand creams, skincare products, all of that. It affects your hormones, stress, poor sleep, environmental factors, and so on. The other side of the coin here is progesterone deficiency because they go together. So sometimes when your estrogen is high, your progesterone remains low, so you have low progesterone. Okay. If you have any of these, that's not caused by like a disease or anything else, it means you have estrogen dominance, which is most women. More than 80% of women have estrogen dominance. That's a huge number. PMS symptoms, any PMS, whatever it is, moodiness, bloating, pain during your period, cravings, all of that. It means your hormones are out of balance. It means your estrogen is high. Fibroids, ovarian cysts, PCOS, endometriosis, weight gain, infertility, heavy periods, irregular periods, early onset of puberty before the age of 12. If you notice the past, let's say 10, 15 years, girls, I'm going to call them girls because they're not women, are getting their periods at the age of 8 and 9 years old. I'm 47. And when we were in my age, we got our periods at 14 and 15. That's why. It's because of estrogen dominance. It's because of all the environmental factors that we have. So they do affect your hormones. Okay, so let's do this. How can we naturally balance our hormones and feel better overall? So we're going to talk about different things and not just food, but food is the most important, but we're going to talk about different things. So first of all, managing stress. We did not say removing stress because that thing you cannot do, just managing stress. And some people think that how can we manage stress? Is this enough to manage our stress? Because the stress that we have is too much to handle. Yes, if you do 15 minutes of this and 10 minutes of what we're going to talk about and balance your food and so on, it will be enough to balance your hormones. Okay? So you need to dedicate 15 minutes of your day doing an activity that de-stresses you. But it's important to do that while you are aware that you're dedicating these 15 minutes to de-stress. So you should be mindful of what you're doing. Because we all know that meditation and yoga and exercise and all of that de-stresses us, but we don't do them regularly. But the only way it will work is if you dedicate a certain, like 15 minutes is more than enough per day, but knowing and being mindful that these 15 minutes I'm doing to de-stress. And it doesn't have to be from this list on the screen. It can be anything. It can be listening to music, it can be praying, it can be anything that de-stresses you, except for eating. So don't go there because you end up unbalancing your other hormones. Okay. And then exercise. We all know how exercise is important for our overall health, but how exercise is important for hormonal balancing, it keeps your cortisol regulated, your insulin sensitivity is better, your estrogen and progesterone are more balanced, which is very hard to do without exercise, and you release endorphins, which are feel-good hormones, part of the feel-good hormones that we have in our body. So it's really important. But some people hate exercise. So try to find something that works for you. Just movement overall. I always tell my clients, if you hate exercise, like while you're on the phone, just walk. You won't feel it. Like I'm sure you spend 15 minutes on the phone per day. Just walk while you're doing that at home, inside. Start there. Like start with something, or do dancing, or something that you like. It doesn't have to be like a punishment that you do. And then the recommended exercise guidelines for women, especially after the age of 30, try to aim for 150 minutes of low to moderate intensity workouts, not high intensity workouts. Personal trainers would go for high intensity workouts, but for hormonal balancing, we need to stay away from high intensity workouts and concentrate more on low to moderate intensity workouts. And try to do 30 minutes to an hour and aim to do 3 to 4 times per week. And that's it. And don't exercise first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, like we talked about, because that will increase your cortisol level. And then sleep. Sleep is very hard to control. You can dedicate 15 minutes of your day to de-stress. You can dedicate another 10, 15 minutes to exercise, but you cannot control sleep. But research showed that after one night of poor sleep, your insulin resistance is increased by 33%. Imagine if you don't sleep every night, what would happen? Now, what can you do to help your sleep? Every other thing that we're doing for hormonal balancing will help you sleep better, and that will be affected during week 2 or 3. But meanwhile, try to create a wind down routine, like go to bed around the same time every night, and then create a bedtime routine to get you in the mood for sleep. Like you can, I'm not gonna say get off your phones and iPads because no one's gonna do that, but try. But at least like finish eating 2 hours before you go to sleep. Try to do calming activities like reading. You can use essential oils like lavender. You can take a hot bath, drink chamomile tea, things that get you in the mood for sleep. And it'll work. It'll help you get there. Okay, and then quality relationships. So we have a bunch of feel-good hormones that are released at any sign of like happy, anything that brings us some sort of happiness or relaxation. Like research showed that a 20-second hug our body releases oxytocin, which is a hormone that makes us feel better. So this is why people with pets at homes or babies always feel more at ease and more relaxed and de-stressed because they're always cuddling and so on. So try to include some physical touch in your day. Okay. And then caffeine. So everyone's favorite topic. It increases your cortisol level. It creates sleep disturbances. It gives you excess estrogen. So one of our main issues is estrogen dominance, and most of the time it's caused by drinking too much coffee. And it affects your bone health, which is already affected because we're women and we're getting to we're moving towards perimenopause and menopause and so on. So what can we do to help with caffeine? Because some people cannot cut out caffeine completely. And when we're talking caffeine, we're not only talking about coffee. Caffeine includes green tea, matcha, all of that, not just coffee. Okay. So try to limit your intake from 1 to 2 cups per day. Try to go for decaffeinated options like herbal teas or beverages that don't include caffeine. Avoid consuming caffeine after 2 p.m. and do not have caffeine on an empty stomach in the morning like we previously talked about. And this will help bring down your cortisol level. Okay, and then optimal hydration. This is the number one issue I have with most of my clients. They don't drink enough water. And it's really important for your overall health and for getting rid of the excess hormones that we have, especially estrogen. So how much water do we need? You need 1 liter for every 25 kilos of your weight. So you need at least 2 liters per day, at least, because no one weighs 25 kilograms. So at least you need 2 liters per day. And if you cannot drink water, there are always other ways to include water. We consider herbal teas as water if they don't include caffeine. So chamomile, fennel, anise, mint, any peppermint tea, cinnamon tea, any tea that doesn't include caffeine, we consider it water. So try to mix between that and pure water. If you have a hard time swallowing water and you feel it's really heavy, it's because water is a very high density liquid. So some people have a sensitive stomach and they can't drink water, they feel nauseous. So try to mix it with a little bit of juice. I recommend cranberry juice that doesn't have any added sugar. It will lower the density and you can easily drink it. All right. So we talked about doing activities that de-stresses us. We talked about exercise, hydration, caffeine, and so on. So how do we balance our hormones naturally through food, which is the most important thing because this is what we do all day. We just eat. So what can we do? Create a healthy gut. So in today's world, we're exposed to a variety of toxins and chemicals and processed foods and prescriptions and drugs and stress, which make our gut health go out of balance. And this causes our gut not to absorb the nutrients that we need, the right nutrients from foods, which lead to hormonal imbalances and so on. So what can we do to create a, a better gut health? It's important to eat a diverse variety of nutrient-dense foods. What does nutrient-dense food mean? It means food that actually include proteins, fibers, healthy fats, not foods that only include sugars and carbs. So if you want to eat pizza, if you want to eat pasta, if you want to eat cake, eat them, but include a salad on the side with some protein and so on. Avoid triggers that cause inflammation when possible. Triggers that cause inflammation to your gut health and so on. Like what? Refined sugar, which means white sugar, brown sugar, and so on. Alcohol, gluten if you are intolerant. Milk, we're only talking about cow milk, not yogurt, not cheeses, not labneh. We're only talking about pure milk, just the drinking cow milk, even if it's lactose free. Okay? Because milk has so many hormones, and more than 90% of women get bloated from cow milk. And it's not a lactose intolerant, it's the milk. So it affects your hormones. So try to avoid that. And processed foods in general. Try to have more easy to digest foods when you can, like soups or stews or smoothies or bone broth, like things that are, let's call them half digested. It's very good for your gut health. It's very good for everything, for constipation, for creating a better gut microbiome. Enjoy fermented foods when you can, like sauerkraut. These are natural probiotics, unsweetened yogurts, kombucha, and so on. And then you need to balance your blood sugar level. If you don't balance your blood sugar level, you will never reach hormonal balance. So, how do we do that? How can we balance our blood sugar level? By eating balanced meals, not balancing your day, balancing every meal that you eat. And this is how you achieve hormonal balance. So it includes creating the right proportion of protein, healthy fats, and fibers. So how can we do that? For proteins, in every meal, we need a minimum of 20 grams of protein. A minimum of 20 grams. It should be 30, but start with 20 and you'll be fine. Okay? And remember, I'm going to always continue to tell you that it's about balancing each meal and not balancing your day. So, what does 20 grams of protein look like? I give you an example here. So, if you eat a chicken breast, that's around 30 grams of protein. A piece of salmon or lean beef, that's between 20 to 30 grams of protein. Tuna and water. Greek yogurt is the best. It's unlike the regular yogurt that we have. It's higher in protein, less fat, less calories if you're trying to lose weight. People think eggs are very high in protein. They're not. Each egg has around 6 to 7 grams of protein only. So if you eat 2 eggs in the morning, it's not enough. That's 14 grams of protein. Lentils, plant-based proteins in general, lentils, all types of beans, white beans, red beans, black beans, pinto beans, whatever, include between 15 to 18 grams of protein, 1 cup of cooked beans or lentils. Edamame is high in protein as well. Thermos is high in proteins, which is lupini beans. Peanut butter, but every 2 tablespoons has around 8 grams of protein, but it's very high in calories. So if you're trying to watch your weight, just look out for that. So it's very hard. You think you're eating enough protein, but you're really not, especially not in the morning, which sets our entire day. It dictates the rest of your day. So it's very important to start your day with a very high protein breakfast, or at least a balanced breakfast, which includes 20 grams of protein. So if you eat 2 eggs, just add some cheese or labne or something on the side to make it to reach the 20 grams of protein. Okay? So now we talked about the protein. Now we want to talk about the fiber, which we don't eat enough of. So fibers are found in fruits and vegetables and so on. So fiber is very important. It slows down the absorption of sugar in your blood. So your insulin is not released very fast. So it's really important to include fiber. And it binds to excess estrogen and helps you eliminate it from your body, which is really important. So the best fiber-rich foods for hormonal balancing, vegetables, broccoli, spinach, kale, Brussels sprouts, cauliflowers, these are very high in fiber. Okay, so a lot of people are gonna say, I've had this comment a lot during the workshops, that these foods bloat us. We cannot eat them. A lot of women get bloated from these foods. Let me tell you something. After you balance your hormones, you will no longer get bloated from any of these foods. So it's not a gut health issue, it's your hormones. And this happens between week 2 and 3. So you can avoid them for the first 2 to 3 weeks and then reintroduce them. Okay, and then we have fruits. So all types of berries, apples, pears, apricots, peaches, and so on. Whole grains like oats, brown rice, quinoa, barley, whole wheat, chickpeas, lentils, all types of plant-based proteins, seeds and nuts like chia seeds, flax seeds, and so on. And then we have healthy fats. We're talking about healthy fats, not corn oil and frying oil. We're talking about avocados, olive oil, raw nuts, nut butters, flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, salmon, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, and so on. Okay? So how do you know how much fat to include in your meal? It depends on your body. So we have two scenarios. If there's not enough fat in your meal, it means you feel hungry within an hour of eating or an hour and a half, and you feel you need to snack a lot. If there's too much fat in your meal, you can go on the rest of your day without eating anything after that meal. It's like when you have a big junk meal, you cannot eat after that. So a good way of telling is if 4 hours pass and from your last meal and you don't feel that you can eat, it means your meal had extra fat in it. You should be able to eat every 3 to 4 hours. Okay. Some good sources of healthy fats, which we talked about. Okay. Below is an illustration to help you imagine how your balanced meal would look like. So every half to 1 cup of carbs needs to have 3 cups of vegetables and 20 to 30 grams of protein. Follow this for your main meals and you will be able to balance your meals 100%. Okay, if anyone wants to take like a screenshot or okay. All right, so in summary, this is what you need to do to be able to balance your hormones through food. Don't drink caffeine or work out on an empty stomach. Try to cut out refined sugars completely for the first 2 to 3 weeks or as long as you can after. Try to have 3 main meals per day and some snacks in between. So our goal is not to go more than 4 hours without food, but not less than 3 hours without food. So don't eat something and then after an hour eat something else, and then our insulin keeps spiking up and down, and we will never be able to balance our blood sugar level. Do not do intermittent fasting. We didn't talk about that. But whoever is doing intermittent fasting, you will never be able to balance your hormones because it puts your body under stress, your cortisol level goes up, and you will never be able to do that, especially after the age of 35. So don't try. Okay. And then don't eat fruits, carbs, or sugars alone. So if you want to have fruits as a snack or a piece of cake or anything, do not have those alone. Always combine it with either a healthy fat or a protein, like yogurt, or a healthy fat like nuts, raw nuts, not roasted nuts, okay? Reduce processed foods. Already you will be doing that if you follow the formula that I gave you. Already you will be cutting out most of your processed foods. Try to add cinnamon to your meals whenever you can. They help us balance blood sugar faster. Concentrate on cruciferous vegetables, which are the vegetables we talked about, like broccoli, cauliflower, the vegetables that bloat you, and all green leaves. And include more plant-based proteins in your diet, like lentils and beans, and drink your water. That's the most important thing. Increase your levels of vitamin D, which are very important for hormonal balancing. Most of us have a deficiency, but people usually, because it's very common, sometimes we disregard it and don't take the supplement. No, you have to take the supplement. Okay? Increase your levels of magnesium. Magnesium is the only supplement that you can take if your magnesium in the blood test is fine. It's the only supplement that you can take more of. Anything else, don't take more of, okay? But magnesium helps with reducing inflammation, promoting relaxation, supporting mood stability, your blood sugar levels, your estrogen levels, and so much more. And I put down the 4 main types of magnesium. There's more, but these are the ones that you need to know about. So magnesium citrate helps with digestive issues. So if you have constipation, go for citrate. But most women need glycinate, which is the most important thing. It helps with anxiety, sleep issues, hormonal balancing, and helping your body just relax all over. It's very gentle on the stomach, and it's the best for women, especially during perimenopause and menopause and so on. And then we have magnesium malate. It's purely for energy and fatigue management, but you don't need it because once you balance your hormones, you will no longer have energy issues or fatigue. And then we have other types of magnesium for brain health, for cognitive function, and so on, which also you don't need because once you balance your hormones, you will fix all these issues. So the only thing I would recommend is the glycinate. And that's it. Okay? Our liver is the most important organ in our detoxification process. So please, your body is already detoxifying itself as is. With all the junk food that we're eating, with all the products that we're using, it's already doing its job. So don't go on a 3-day detox or a water fast or I don't know what. It won't help. Okay? The best thing you can do is reduce the toxic load on your liver. And how do we do that? By eating a whole foods diet. So if you follow the formula I gave you, you'll already be doing that. Eating antibiotic or hormone-free meats and dairy. This is hard to do because you don't know the source, but try. Avoid alcohol, caffeine, and smoking. This you can do. Avoid chemical household products and chemical-free skincare products. It depends. A lot of women are doing that already. But if you do 1 or 2 out of these, you'll be helping your liver a lot. Okay? Some very important foods for hormonal balancing. Green tea, which helps us get rid of our extra estrogen. But remember that green tea has caffeine. So don't drink like 2 green teas and 3 coffees per day. That will not help. Okay? Ginger, which is very good for decreasing inflammation, for stimulating digestion, and so on. Fish in general for the omega-3. Fermented foods, which we talked about. Cinnamon, which we said added to your meals. Flax seeds, which are called phytoestrogens, which means what? They are plant-based sources of estrogen. So once you are in perimenopause or menopause, it's important to include flax seeds in your day. They act as estrogen, so they remove all the symptoms that you have. Even if you have estrogen dominance, they help get rid of the extra estrogen that you have. So flax seeds is a superfood for women. Antioxidants, like most types of vegetables, berries, and so on. Cruciferous vegetables, which we talked about. Nuts and seeds, which we also talked about. Lentils, which are plant-based protein. Avocados, which are healthy fat, which we also included. So we included most of these in what we talked about. So the golden question is, how long does it take to balance my hormones? This is the golden question. So balancing your hormones is not a one-time thing that you do and then you go back. It's a lifestyle. You cannot like balance your hormones and then go back. They unbalance in 2 days. So it's the thing that's ongoing that you need to do It's a lifestyle. It's a new lifestyle that you're going to do. But you're going to feel the changes. So this is how the timeline looks like. So in the first week, if you follow what we talked about, you will reduce your endocrine disruptors by up to 90%. In 7 to 10 days, you improve your blood sugar levels. And so the first thing you're going to feel is an energy shift, 180 degrees energy shift. So if you used to wake up feeling tired, you will no longer wake up tired. If you used to get sleepy after big meals, you will no longer get sleepy. If you had energy drops in the afternoon, you will no longer feel that way. So when you start feeling that, know you're on the right track to balancing your hormones. In 7 days, you completely get rid of sugar and carb cravings. In 2 weeks, you improve your sleep and any digestive issues that you had, like bloating, constipation, and so on. In 2 to 3 weeks, you improve your skin. You will not notice, people will start telling you, oh, what have you done to your face? You look glowy, people will start noticing that. In 4 to 6 weeks, you can reduce any hot flashes or mood swings if you have any of those. In 2 months, you improve your estrogen metabolism and reduce any PMS or perimenopausal menopausal symptoms. So it needs 2 cycles let's say you have pain during your period. The first month after following this, the pain will be reduced to 50 to 60%. The month after that, it will disappear completely. So it's like magic. Okay. And then in 4 months, you can lower your stress. So cortisol needs 4 months. But anyway, you still feel better overall. And then continuing to eat in a hormonally supportive way over time protects our fertility, slows down our aging, and helps us like we're not at risk of getting diseases anymore, and so on. So as you see, hormonal balancing is needed to achieve optimal health and avoid diseases and illnesses throughout our whole lives. So this was a brief summary of how hormonal balancing makes you feel overall. If you'd like to attend the full workshop, you can you can do that. You can follow me on Instagram. My page is Holistic Nutrition by Nadine, and it's really a 4-hour workshop. I try to include as much information as possible during this hour, so I hope I included the most important things. So if you really follow the guidelines that I give you, you will be able to balance your hormones. I try to include the most important things to be able to help you feel better overall. And so if you
Wow.
have any
يعني
questions, yeah.
Wow, Nadine, thank you so much. First of all, like the presentation was super informative. I learned a
Thank
lot, and I feel that I want to watch again the replay. By the way, you can all watch the replay to
Okay,
take
good.
more notes, to start balancing my life, my hormones even better. I see people like dropping questions inside the chat. Please, if you can either
Yes.
raise your hands or you can drop your question. Inside the chat. So let's start.
Okay, we do have a few questions. So during they were sharing it with okay. So
Oh,
Sophia said fibromyalgia is the disease my body is fighting. So Sophia, let me tell you something. I've worked with so many women, more than literally more than 50 women that were diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and believe me, once we balanced their hormones, all their pain went away. And they're not on antidepressants, they're not on muscle relaxants or any of that anymore. I promise you. But for people with specific hormonal imbalances, we need to work more on a more specific plan. Like what I gave you right now is very general for people with like general hormonal imbalances, but for people like, let's say someone has a thyroid issue or insulin resistance that they need to reverse or something, we need to go in more detail. I just gave the general overall way to balance hormones. Okay, agreed. I'm one of those, the caffeine person. Okay, and they control us, yes. Yes, okay. So someone said, yes, I'm hypothyroid. Hypothyroid means her thyroid is not producing enough thyroid hormones. So in her case, she needs to take the thyroid Euthyrox or thyroxine. She needs to take the hormone to replace that missing hormone. But it doesn't mean that taking thyroxine will fix your hormonal imbalance. It just replaces the missing hormone, but you still need to balance your hormones naturally to get rid of the symptoms. Okay, and I'm trying to see. I hated the exercise until I started Pilates. Yes, so try to find something that works for you, something that you like doing. I use lavender on my pillow. Yes, that's a good way. A lot of people spray lavender on their pillows. Mushroom coffee, that's fine. Including bone broth in my diet has been very, very beneficial for sure. I love Greek yogurt. Yes, it's dilemma. It is. It's the best. Soybeans are fine. So don't worry about everything that you read on the internet that talks about soy products that say that they affect women hormone. You need to consume huge amounts of soybeans for it to affect you. So you're not going to do that, I assure you. You're not going to eat 2 kilos of soybeans per day for it to affect you. So don't worry about everything that you read on the internet. It's all they blow it out of proportion. It won't hurt you. It's all about balance, really. I'd like to add pumpkin seeds, very high in magnesium. Yes, definitely, 100%. Pumpkin seeds are really good for. I do intermittent fasting. No, Lama, don't do intermittent fasting. Wala Elian,
Can I
no.
say something?
Yes.
Because sometimes, like I do 2 times per week intermittent fasting, and I wanted to understand more, like why it's not good for the hormonal
Okay.
balance.
Okay. So let me tell you why. First of all, for women after the age of 30 or 35, your cortisol is already higher than normal. Okay? During intermittent fasting, what do people normally do? They start their day, they don't start their day within the first hour of waking up. They don't start eating, they don't break their fast within the first hour of waking up. So we're increasing cortisol even more by doing that. And what do they do during fasting hours? They drink caffeine, which increases your cortisol even more. And when your estrogen and progesterone starts dropping in your mid 30s or even before, it depends on your body, what happens? Your cortisol is naturally high, and this will put your body under more stress. So
Right, I
instead
see.
of you losing weight, you will end up not losing weight because your body
Okay,
is in fight or flight mode.
I see. Because
Okay.
هلا
Plus,
mainly I don't drink coffee.
another
Yeah, yes,
point, and
yes.
you need to balance your blood sugar level all day, not only during hours of fasting. So
Okay,
it's very
because
hard to achieve hormonal balance if you're doing intermittent fasting.
okay, I
So
see.
some people wrote about, they asked
Okay,
about,
so
yeah,
mainly, yeah, I don't drink coffee during the fasting time because I know it's not good also for for the stomach and so on.
yes.
But okay, so mainly what we should do in the morning is like what time specifically we have to eat after waking up?
Within an hour. So if you
كتير
are
منيح.
not used to, let's say you wake up at 7 and
Okay,
you have a routine, you drink water, you drink your coffee, and then you
I
go
drink
work
only
out,
water.
for example. Okay?
Okay,
So if you're working out, you cannot have a full breakfast because you throw up if you work out.
of course, of
So what
course.
we do is we just include 4 or 5 almonds, raw almonds, which are good enough to bring down your cortisol, and then you can work out, then you can drink your coffee, and then you can have breakfast. So this
Perfect.
this is a small hack that we use
Thank
instead of having breakfast. Okay?
you.
By the
Yes.
way, after I attended your workshop, Nadine, I became aware about, I stopped doing the intermittent fasting. And
Yeah.
I realized that as a woman, the more I relax my body, the better I feel, which was against the culture that I used to live in my 20s and in my 30s. I was more in like the doing the high intensity and the cardio and the action and
Yes, definitely.
and I was going crazy and I didn't know why. And then I became aware after your workshop, I realized that a woman taking care of her body is the best thing that you can do. And the water, the water, the water. I
The
remember
water is
the
very
water, the
important,
water.
yes.
And I started to watch my water. I bring in big bottles intimidates me because I hate water. So I went to small bottles. I ordered small bottles just to help myself becoming more friend with the water and drinking it more.
Eliane, I'm totally the opposite. If I don't have the big bottle of water, I feel thirsty, to be honest. I feel like I need to drink, like I need the big one to feel that I'm drinking water.
Okay. Let's continue with the question. So, which brand of magnesium supplement can you recommend? It doesn't matter really about the brand. It's just what type of magnesium you need for your case. So, what I suggest instead of taking magnesium, balance your hormones. Go according to the plan for a month, and then see how you feel. And if you still need magnesium, then we can discuss which type of magnesium you need, and then we can find the right brand for you. So it depends on how many milligrams and so on. What causes migraines? Yes, migraines are most of the time for women hormonal. So this is why people with migraines, they get worse around their period time, around their before or after their period or during. And yes, it helps a lot once you start balancing your hormones. It's like magic. Your migraines will go away. And depending on, okay. All right. So interesting question from Nour. So recommended foods to eat depending on which phase we are. So ovulation phase uh, or follicular phase and so on. So there's something called seed cycling, which I'm sure you've heard of, maybe. It's eating certain foods during certain times of your period, like certain phases. You don't need to worry about that because all of the foods that we included work for all phases. And the plan that I gave you works on every phase during your cycle. Number one. Number two, it works if you're a teenager or you're in perimenopause or you're pregnant or after or menopause or even post-menopause for both men and women. Okay? So you don't have to worry about going into such detail, Noor. Okay? So it's fine. It works for all phases. Thank you. Thank you for the nice comments. Any specific recommendations for menopausal women? Yes, of course. It depends on what symptoms you are going through. So, for menopausal women, what we do is let's say hot flashes is one of the most common symptoms. It can even happen post-menopause. Like some women experience it even 10 years after menopause. They still have hot flashes. So in that case, I recommend you have to balance your hormones the way that we talked about, but we include more supplements or teas or specific teas to help you with that, like something called black cohosh or primrose evening oil and so on. So it depends on the case, really. There's nothing general. It really depends on the specific case of what you are going through. Okay, as a mother of three, I've neglected my physical health for quite some time, but now I'm dedicated. This webinar was very gold mine, valuable insight. Thank you very much. I really hope you guys enjoyed it because it was very hard to put in all this info in an hour. Okay, I took cortisone for 3 years due to a medical condition. I gained 35 kilos. I've been struggling to lose the weight. Don't worry, let me tell you something. I lost 42 kilos so far. I gained 55 kilos during the time that I was sick for 10 years. And I really struggled to lose all the weight back. Well, not all of it yet, but 42 kilos is a lot. But the 40 kilos that I lost after the age of 40, which means during perimenopause, which is the hardest thing to do ever. So you can do it for sure. You just need to find the right plan for you and don't think of it as a diet. You just balance your hormones and these kilos will start dropping. Thank you. Thank you for the nice comments. I recently heard about turmeric tablets helping digestion, acid reflux. Yes, definitely. But you can get okay, if anything, you can get like cinnamon or turmeric or anything that you can have naturally. Why take the supplement? You know what I mean? Like, why take pills? And just add it to your foods. It's yeah, it's much better. Like, I'm not against supplements, but if there's anything you can get naturally from food, then why not? Why buy it? You know what I mean? castor oil for the liver. It depends what you're using, يعني, for what. What are, yes, Lama,
Okay.
what are you trying?
Because like lately I have been seeing the ad about like castor oil, putting it on your belly with the castor oil pad also.
Okay.
It helps like the liver like to detox. Plus, they say that it might help. I don't believe because I did the research to lose weight also, or maybe the belly fat, I'm not sure, or maybe the liver will help like the body. But I wanted to have more information because of I have someone in my family who has a fatty liver. So
Okay.
yeah, so to
No,
see if this is
fatty liver, لا. Let me tell you something. There's no, like, there isn't one product or one item that's magical for any case whatsoever. It's a bunch of things that our bodies are very complex. So they need a little bit of effort to, I wish there was something like one thing that would help with any case, but there isn't, unfortunately. But for fatty liver, I've worked with people for fatty liver. We need to create a much more detailed plan than just including castor oil or anything like that. It's much more complicated than that, but it is reversible. Whatever the doctor says, it is reversible. Any heart-related diseases as well are completely reversible. Yeah, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, insulin resistance, diabetes type 2, um, what else? Any heart-related diseases are completely 100% reversible by food only, by the way
I
that
see.
you eat. And reversible, not just you lower your blood results. No, they're reversible completely, and you don't have to go on medication. But unfortunately, every single household had at least one of these medications. Okay, what time should magnesium glycinate be taken? At night, before you sleep. I've just took a test for my hormones, and the doctor told me everything was in balance except for my testosterone. It was a bit too much. Do all of these things still fit in that case? Yes. Uh, Blood tests usually don't show the real hormonal imbalances unless something is very high. Um, there's something called Dutch testing, which we don't have in the Middle East, I believe. I think they have it in Dubai. I'm not sure. Someone told me they have it, or they send the results to the States. This gives you a very detailed hormonal, like, it gives you details of which hormone is out of balance, why is it out, مش why is it out of balance, but like specific details about each hormone, unlike the blood test. The blood test give you ranges. Like if your estrogen is from this range to this range, it's normal. It's not normal. It needs to go along with progesterone. It needs, so yes, this applies to your testosterone, but again, to lower testosterone, there are specific details that we need to include other than only doing this. Okay? So you can start by this, then you can contact me and we can work specifically with other details. What about fasting? Okay, we talked about that. Thank you, everyone. Is your clinic in Lebanon? Okay. So I am based in Jordan, but I go to Beirut. I spend more time in Beirut than Jordan. So I'm almost like every month I'm in Beirut for around at least 2 weeks. So 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 I do workshops there. I see my clients there. So I'm in between Jordan, Amman, and Beirut all the time. TSH is high. Is all that we discussed applicable? No, it depends on the case. Like usually when I work with clients, we do an assessment session first. So I really ask you so many questions about your lifestyle. When you wake up, what you eat, what you do, your symptoms. We go into so much detail, and then I see blood tests, and based on that, I create a plan for you specifically. Yani, this is the base that I gave you today, but for something specific, we need to go into more detail. So it depends why it's high. It depends. Most of the time, thyroid hormonal tests, if they're high or low, sometimes they're temporary. It can be caused by too much stress. You're going through a stressful period. Your cortisol might be high. Your period might be irregular, you're going through perimenopause. Sometimes the TSH is high just temporarily. So you need to recheck it after 3 months and then decide if it's really high or not. Okay. I think that's it. I think I covered all questions. I think.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nadine.
Thank you, Nadine. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. And for everyone that attended, you get this discount. So you get
Wow.
30% discount on all the programs that I offer. You can check my Instagram page; they're all there, and or you can just contact me directly through Instagram, and you get a 15% discount on all workshops, like the 4-hour workshop.
Amazing. And I have to say that the workshops are eye-opening. I changed my lifestyle. I really changed. I became more aware how to really be connected with my body and to benefit
Thank you,
from
Eliane.
to benefit from the no. Thank you for sharing all this knowledge. I mean, this knowledge that you shared is very important. And the better we know, the better we do. The better we
Yeah,
do ourselves.
true,
Knowledge
true. Of
is very
course, the more you know, the better. Yeah, definitely.
because we didn't study this in schools, in universities, and doctors don't know about it actually.
Yes, it's true.
Uh, to
It's
benefit,
not that they're hiding something from you, it's just they don't know. Because like this past year in Beirut, I had 6 doctors attend these workshops, the live workshops, and most of them were gynecologists, and they said that like after years of practice, they realized that giving their patients hormones is doing them more harm than good. But they don't know how to do it naturally because this is not something that is taught at universities or so on.
they don't.
And
Yeah.
plus it's new. So yeah, so
Yes.
thank you all for the
Thank you
nice.
so much, Nadine, for this
Thank you.
informative
Thank you for
webinar.
having me. It was a nice session.
It's always our pleasure to have you. This is not the first time. And I really want to invite all the ladies to benefit from the discount that Nadine was
Yes.
sharing with us tonight. Go back to your notes. Like it's very important to start implementing what you learned tonight with Nadine. And also for people who are interested to know more about Alpha Women, about our community, what we do, also feel free to contact the people who invited you for this webinar to know more about what we do as a community, not only helping people, also like, of course, like 90% or 100% of what we do is about financial education, investment education, but also as Eliane mentioned before about the 4 wheels of life, we always do like every month we do events for women to help them balance their lives when it comes to the health, mental health part, physical health, relationships, communication, beliefs, mindset. So mainly this is what we do for women to help them, improve in life and help other people or other women, because we as women like to help each other. So mainly this is it for us tonight. Thank you everyone for attending. Eliane, do you like to say anything before we finish?
Thank you, Nadine, and thank you, Lama. Thank you, everyone. All the women here are really serious to take their health seriously because they are invested their time for this. And I encourage women to self-invest, to do this self-investment, not only in health and in wealth as well. So all the people who invited you to this really precious webinar, contact them, reach out to know more about Alpha Women, as Lama said, but also about how we help women to start to build their wealth the right way. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Bye.
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 Bye.